Hello YouTube, or internet at large. Today is November 22nd, which among other things is the 50th anniversary of the day that Kennedy was killed, but that's not what this video is about. It's the 22nd video in my 30 videos in 30 days project. I am using the questions from the 30-day trans challenge posted by the Miserable Muse on DeviantArt. The link is below in the show notes if you want to try this yourself. So I'm also going to try and knock out 3 videos today because it's the weekend and I get my kids this weekend and it's a big, huge Doctor Who weekend. So I don't want to have to interrupt that to do this. So today's question is, do you feel being trans holds you back from your career choice? Not really. First of all, I kind of I lucked into the career that I have. I am a voice engineer. That means I'm a telecom engineer. I don't work with like audio recordings. I work on the software systems that route phone calls after you've called, say, a bank or your insurance company or any place where you're going to talk to a call center agent. There are systems in the back end that once you have put in your information in the IVR or VRU, it's a interactive voice robot and voice response unit. Honestly, that's what those stand for. But once you have input the information there are systems in the back end that take that information, look at all the call centers available, and try to send you to the person who is most able to help you with what exactly you need, and is going to help you fastest. So, being a telecom engineer, I can tell you, you are not doing yourself any favors by zeroing out of all of the IVRs that you get to, because they are actually, believe it or not, designed to try to get you to the right place. And if you zero out or pound out or in any way try to cheat the IVR, you're going to get sent to some general assist group, but it's not going to be, they're not necessarily going to be best able to help you. So they're just going to have to transfer you anyway. So there's my little rant. So you know what? Answer the questions. That's really what that means. So, do I feel that being trans has limited my career choice? No, I lucked into that. I studied journalism in college and didn't finish. I didn't graduate college. I wound up taking a clerical type job at a Sears office. Not like at a store, but the Sears Home Improvement billing department, And I wasn't doing billing, I was doing like contractor compliance, making sure that they had their licenses and insurance, and I always helped out the people in the office whenever they had trouble with their computers, because the average age of the office was somewhere around 59, and it was a lot of older women who were doing this part-time, sort of post-retirement, or they'd been at Sears for 30 years, or it was college students doing it, while they were in between classes, and that kind of stuff. So I didn't have to help the college students so much, but I did have to help the older employees. And so I became pretty adept at it, and people came to me whenever I had, they had questions. Then an opening in the IT department at that site opened up, so I applied for that, and I got that, and I was just doing desktop support. And then a little piece of it was managing the office phone system, and I really enjoyed that, so the next job that I took, I was doing that full time, and then I worked at a couple of other major corporations and expanded my skill set, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's turned into a pretty lucrative career, and it's something I've been doing now for a dozen years, which is pretty crazy when I think about it. But, you know, it's just sort of happened to me. Now, I work in, you know, most of the places I've worked have been pretty corporate, like big corporate, major insurance providers, credit card companies, banks, you know, so those tend to have a much more conservative atmosphere, but at the same time, they pay lip service to, you know, diversity and equal employment. So I feel like if I came out at work, I would have protections. Not at the moment because I'm a contractor, but the company I'm contracted to has a lot of, you know, trans protections. And their insurance covers transition-related costs, which is pretty awesome. But there's other costs and risks associated with working for that company. But, you know, it's a job. So I don't think that I can't do that work if I'm trans. I think that there would be an adjustment period, and I would have to transition on the job and, you know, go through everything that involves, like, you know, explaining to my coworkers and, you know, and transitioning. But at the same time, right now, I work from home, and there are a lot of positions in this industry where I could do that. I could work from home. So I don't necessarily need to transition, or there's no presentation aspect to it, except for just a couple times a year where I have to go into the office. So, you know, is it worth it? Is it worth going through all of that? You know, I don't know that surgical transition is what I'm looking for, so, you know, if I'm not seeking that, is it worth going through all of the hassle and headache and, you know, transition stuff just for it, you know? I don't know. That's something I'm still trying to figure out, but it's not really a question that needs to be answered today. But that's not my dream job. As it turns out, I didn't grow up wanting to be a telecom engineer. I said I studied journalism in college, and I wanted to be a writer. It turns out that I'm both not great at writing and really terrible at making myself, you know, put in the time and the work. I always seem capable of finding reasons and ways to slack off. So, or, you know, I use my family as an excuse, or, you know, various and other things, but I don't set aside the time and I don't put in the work to actually be a writer, because it's not something that you just are. It's a skill that you develop. And, you know, I used to be pretty decent at journalistic writing, but it's I don't know, journalism kind of killed my ability to write creatively, because it's so commodified and so cookie cutter, and, you know, it's, you know, intriguing lead, quote, block of information, you know, quote, 2 graphs of information, blah, 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 blah. And you just put it all together until you get to 300 to 500 words, or you can fill 7 column inches, or, you know, it sounds dirty, actually, when I say it like that. Anyway, but there's not a lot of room for, you know, creativity, and I used to be a lot more creative when I was younger, but I was able to get out of my head, like not get in my own way at the time. So, and I don't know that that's something I want to do anyway, is write professionally. What I would love to do, what I would absolutely, like, what I think would actually make me feel like I am fulfilled by my job is to be either an actor or a voice actor or both. You know, Laverne Cox shows that there are some opportunities for trans people in Hollywood. You know, and Carmen Carrera and Candace Cain and a few others who are, you know, actively working in Hollywood. You know, and Carmen is a model, if I remember right. But, you know, they're all gorgeous, for one. And, you know, that's never going to be me. Sometimes I can do pretty. Like, that's not Hollywood movie screen pretty. There's a reason you guys don't get this in 1080p. I can barely handle 720 because face. Anyway, I would love to do that, though, and I think I have a really nice vocal range, so I would love to do voice acting. I actually got the opportunity to do a book reading for an author. I have a friend whose mom works at a small publishing house, and they partner with this blog talk radio show, and on Halloween they were promoting an author who had written a book about goblins, and they needed somebody to do a reading of the story of portions of the book, and my friend remembered that I wanted to do voice work, so she contacted her mom, and her mom contacted me, and I recorded a little something, and the author really liked it, and it was, you know, broadcast on the internet. And, you know, this shows you just how difficult it is to actually broadcast on the internet. But, you know, it was really fun to do, and it was nice to hear my voice, you know, doing a book reading. And if anybody wants to hear it, leave a comment, and I'll put it in the show notes, but I'm not going to put it here. You know, I'm not going to start with it there because... you know, it was fine. It was fun, but, you know, it's sort of tangential to the basic, you know, topic of my video channel. Okay, so now I'm sort of rambling. So I think the takeaway lesson is here that being closeted trans has not impacted my career in any way. But I am lazy and full of excuses and reasons, and I don't get to be a writer or an actor because I don't put the work into it. And, you know, making such a huge career change carries all kinds of risks anyway. You know, I have a house that I need to pay for, and I have children that I need to feed and clothe and educate, and you know, I gave up my 20s in order to be a dad, and, you know, it's not really even a cost, you know, like, I would never trade one moment with my kids for any amount of perceived freedom in my 20s. But, you know, I have responsibilities that I need to take care of, and I can't put all of that at risk. Certainly not at 35, you know, and I have a 12 and a 10-year-old, and there's a lot of reasons that I need to stay in the job, or at least in the industry that I'm in. You know, 12 years of experience goes pretty far. You know, and it pays well, so I can't, you know, I'm not going to be able to replace that with any amount of acting. So, you know, there's trade-offs in life. Anyway, although, you know, hey, if you are a director in Hollywood or casting agent and you are looking for, you know, an average-looking, mediocre, you know, suburban trans woman for your next movie, call me. Or, you know, send me a note. Like anybody else, you can send me a note up here in YouTube land, or you can leave a comment below. You can contact me at brin@bigender.net. You can find me at bigender.net/forum. You can find me on Tumblr, brinconvenient.tumblr.com, or on Twitter @brinconvenient. So now we're approaching 15 minutes, and that's all I have to say. And I have 2 more videos to record, so until tomorrow.